So I've had tons and tons of people asking me, how's your tank, Bob? How's your tank? You don't post nothing on your tank no more. So now I'm posting a video. And this is exactly how the tank looks with one exception. On my Kessel lights, which I'll show you in a minute, I've turned the blue completely off because otherwise it just skews the white balance to everything looks too blue. But as you can see, it's been doing pretty well. There's the left side of the tank. There's one of my two WP-40s, and I'll explain a little about those in a minute. We've got a nice mixed variety of LPS, SPS, and a few softies. Certainly a lot of zoanthids and things like that. There's some red robin there and some tan acro. And I just added in a couple of new pieces of rock. And there's my orange gorgonian. There's some of the LPS. And I have a couple of clams. There's a blue maxima. And I have a Durasa, an Aura Durasa, I'll show you in a minute. And then again, more. Some pom-pom xenia. I have a Tyree toadstool. Actually have some blood chalice up there. Here's one of my bigger acro colonies. Cream acro, and next to it a green slimer. And down below there's kind of a, I don't know, a no-name stubby acro. There's that colonial anemone I got from Aquatica, and another gorgonian. Down here I have my gonoporias, green, red, and then that strawberry shortcake one. They're a little ticked off today because I was messing with the tank a little while ago. There's some more orange sponge. There's that Durasa clam. I've had him probably 3 or 4 years now, and he's grown at least quadruple the size he used to be. There's another gorgonian. Up here, there's my pink pulsing Signalaria that everybody always wants. There's my last remaining bubble tip anemone. That's one of the great, how many times great grandchild clones of that original one that I got from Bert that split 14 times. That's the only one I saved. I got rid of all the rest. Like I said, things have been going pretty well. Filtration, or circulation anyway, I have 2 of the WP-40s, but I only have one working at a time. Right now the one I'm showing you is on, and the other one is off. And I have them on a timer that alternates them, and the timer is right down here. I got that from Adam. And I have it normally set every 15 minutes to alternate, but for the purpose of the video I did it every 2 minutes. So let's see if we can show how that works. If you look near the one on the right, you can see the wave starting. And then we'll wait in a minute, and then you'll see the one on the left kick on, the one on the right shuts off, and you'll see the wave start on there. So it gives a real nice circulation, and these things are definitely plenty powerful. This is a 90-gallon tank, and just one of them is enough. That's the only 2 pumps I have in the whole tank. And you can see I got flow in every corner. And I got tons of rock. That's one of the things I believe in. People say, what's the Bob's Reef method? Well, that's one of them. Lots of rock. That's your filtration. That's your denitrization for the tank. It also provides a breeding ground for all your pods and small infauna that your corals and some of your pickier fish eat. So I think that's something that is definitely missing in a lot of tanks. A lot of people skimp on rock, and it's usually because of cost. But I have tons of rock in my tank, and you can see it looks pretty happy considering the whole tank is less than a year old. I have a frag rack up there that I want to get rid of because it's just in the way, but I got a couple of frags on there. I'll show you them in a minute. I'm just waiting for these 2. Seems like a watch pot never boils. Just waiting for them to kick off. You can still see that the MP40 on the right's running. It should switch any minute now because it only goes 2-minute cycle. Come on. Note to self, I think we'll edit out some of this time so we're not staring at it. Oh, there you go. Now it changed over. Now the one on the right stopped, and now the one on the left is running, as you can see. Here's that frag rack. I just got a couple of frags left. There's a nice unknown red chalice that apparently has yellow eyes that I got from Rusty at Benepets, and he told me if it has yellow eyes, tell me, because I guess it's rare or valuable or something. And this one acro here was a single head for, geez, 7-8 months, and only in the last 2 weeks has it popped out all those baby heads since I started with this alternating current and just adding even more flow. So it's interesting to see the change because of that. And you can see all my gorgonians, they're all polyped out from all that flow, and the same thing with the GSP and some of these other pieces here. And even my orange gorgonian, I don't know if you can pick it up, but you can see all the polyps. Let's take a look at the lights. Like I said before, these are the lights. They're 2 Kessel A350s. And even though they look kind of blue in the lens of the camera, at least from what I can see, they're really set quite white in person right now. And if you looked at my tank, it would look like I was running maybe 10K bulbs. That's the visual effect I see, but I had to do that so that you could see it more clearly. If I do it any more blue influence, it just screws up the video. So these LEDs are kind of hard to film with. Here's a shot of that water motion, and just keep in mind that's one power head. You know, people will say what they want about these things. Oh, they're from Japan, and what if it breaks in a year, and they're copying Tunzi, or their name sounds like a Vortec. That's not fair, but you know what? These things absolutely kick ass. Period. This is one of the biggest, in my opinion, innovations in the last at least 3 years, maybe 5 years in this hobby, because this kind of circulation and wave action used to cost you $500 or $600 for the Vortec equivalent, and now you can get a pump. I mean, these things are selling for 80 bucks. And I've had one now for almost a year. The other one I just got, but you know, as far as reliability, almost a year. Never did anything to it. You know, I start it and stop it. It has a feed button, so it stops to feed. Always starts back up, dead quiet. As far as I'm concerned, very reliable. And in fact, you'll hear some noise, and the only noise you're actually hearing is that water sloshing. Especially if you look at my overflow, you can see it sloshing over the top. That's the noise you hear. So in my case, the way I have it set up, it's not dead quiet. It's a water noise, and some people might not like that depending on where it's on your house. But if you position them lower or change the wave frequency or change the program on the controller, because these come with a controller, you change that, you can get a different wave pattern, or just even eliminate the top motion and that sloshing. But I actually like it. I think it's good for the cause too. So, as I said before, it's a little hard to see, but there's 2 controllers. There's only one on at a time. When they switch, the power would go off to one and goes on to the other. And they have a memory. See, there you go. It just switched, and it starts up right where it left off. So it actually does 2 different direction waves. I really think that's a key thing. I really like that. And honestly, the other thing I like about it is that's a feature that to get, usually you have to spend $1,000, and I mean $200. You can't beat that. And like I said, here's the timer I got, and it just alternates every few minutes. Here's the sump. Made a few changes since I first set up the tank. I actually got rid of my cone skimmer. It was a nice skimmer. It's just with the bio load I have, I mean, I really have a lot more fish bio load than you normally see in a 90-gallon tank, and I will look at that in a second again. But I went with a big old school GS4 skimmer. I mean, it's a beast. Thing's I think 9 inches in diameter, 25 inches tall, huge. The collection cup holds about a gallon of skimmate. It's running on a PSK, a CJ pump, instead of those old Cedra pumps, so it's more efficient power-wise and quiet. It's really pretty quiet. On the other side there, I have a little, it's kind of hard to see. Let me move up and see if you can see it. If you look in here, I have a little basket with some chaetomorpha algae in it. And that's all I really have in there. And then I have one of those Jabao, another Chinese, the DC return pump. That thing is dead silent, and it's adjustable. If you look over here, there's my Reef keeper right. And over here, there's a controller for the Jabao pump. I mean, you know, like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm, you know, tooting the horn of these things too much, but these pumps are under $100, and I think the reliability is fine, and they're adjustable, and they're controllable, and they're dead silent. I mean, to me, one of the bargains for the last 5 years. I also still have my DRS 2-stage media reactor. First one there has some GFO in it, the other one has carbon. And that's pretty much everything under the sun. Tank itself is a 20-gallon tank, you know, and the top tank's a 90 display, so I figure I probably have about 100 gallons total water volume. So let's go back up top. I want to show you some of the fish again. My powder blue. Different fish. I used to have a Heniacus. I traded my Heniacus and a yellow tang for the powder blue because the Heniacus was eating my corals, unfortunately. Still have my pair of black clowns that I got from Sean Saby. I still have my bang guys. I still have my pajama cardinals. I still have my Nazo tang over there. I'm looking for the big guy. He's a little camera shy right now, but you'll see him when you see him. There's my blue sponge, my famous blue sponge, still doing well. In fact, there's a baby one right there, and there's another baby one at the top of the tank that I really can't get to. Ah, there's the monster. There's my Harlequin tuskfish. I don't know why he's suddenly hiding. Usually comes out, thinks he's going to get fed. But he's 6.5 inches long. I bought him, he was 2.5 inches. So in the year that this tank has been up, basically, he's grown almost triple in size. He eats like a horse. He is gentle as far as he doesn't really bother. He certainly doesn't bother any corals. So anybody thinking about keeping a tuskfish, a small one anyway, in your tank, reef tank, I have no issues with that. He's never bothered corals, as I said before. I have clams in there. I have starfish in there. Never bothered them. He did wipe out every single one of my hermit crabs. Hasn't touched my snails or my conchs. It's funny because you wouldn't believe, looking at the tank right now, that I have 20 fish in this tank. You see a few of them. But I'm going to feed him and let's see everybody come. Okay, so I have some of my special homemade food here left over from the Iron Chef. And I've defrosted it and I'm going to throw it in the tank and feed everybody. But before that, I have to feed one unfrozen cube to Fatty Arbuckle. Otherwise, he will eat everything. So there goes the cube. And the fish will go for it, but as soon as Tubby, my tuskfish, sees it, he'll come and devour it. So just give him a minute. For some reason, he's being a little shy. But here comes some more of the fish. Like I said, all of a sudden we got fish in the tank. Here comes the Volmingi. Okay, I'll throw a little more food in. We'll get the rest of these guys out. There we go. There he comes. Now he'll grab the biggest thing there because he's just such a chooch. So let me throw some more in. And see, he grabs these big chunks and he goes underneath. So I have to throw in a good amount of food. The Volmingi's got one, he's going to steal that, see? Because he just eats so much compared to everybody else. And like I said, I do have 20 fish in this tank, believe it or not. Or 19 or something like that. So here comes my coal tang. There's the Nazo tang. There's the clownfish. There's the bang guys. There's the Volmingi. See how he changed his color so quick because he's happy now because he's eating. And there's my tuskfish. There is my flame angel. Still have that original blue yellow-bellied Fiji damsel or whatever he was called. There's the powder blue. Who else is around? There's my hawk. There's a 6-line. I also have a yellow chorus. I have a Christmas wrasse, and I have that. I wish he would come out, but he's not going to come out right now. There, back there's my coral beauty. See him hiding over there. It's kind of late, and that's why, because daylight savings time. So all these guys are used to going to bed by now. The lights are going to shut off in about 5 minutes, if that. But you can see everybody's doing real well. I hope you're enjoying this video, and I hope it answers the question of, hey Bob, how's your tank? And I'm going to actually, the lights just went off.